Hello and welcome back to Youth in Politics. I'm Justin Jeanette, and once again I'm joined with Lynne Williams, who is a Maine Independent Green Party candidate for governor. What are your top 3 priorities as governor in terms of either cutting programs or cutting initiatives in order to reduce the spending that's going on in Augusta right now that some critics of Augusta say they're out of control in terms of spending? In this last legislative session, there was over a $200 million budget shortfall. What would you do as governor, your top 3 priorities in that regard?
I think this ties into my answer to an earlier question about bringing in new commissioners, bringing in a fresh view of what's going on in these agencies. I know firsthand from just the agencies that I deal with through my legal work or through assisting clients. There are efficiencies to be had. There are things going on in agencies just because historically we've always had these positions filled. I think there are, as I said, efficiencies to be made and changes to be made and streamlining to be made. I will never say, though, that we can close our budget deficit by saving money in agencies and in state government alone. I think we really need to look at, do some further looking at the tax structure. I know a tax bill was passed this time. I'm mixed. It has a lot of good parts, but I have some problems with some parts too. But I think we need to look at the tax structure. And we also need to look at, again, increasing the entrepreneurial spirit in the state, attracting entrepreneurs from other states and keeping the ones we have here. And I think that depends on, I know I'm jumping from the economy to higher education, but that depends a whole lot on putting an appropriate amount of money into our higher education system so that we have an educated and prepared workforce.
Speaking of education, you've advocated for the repeal of Maine school administrative consolidation law. Why would you not support something that would eliminate administrative redundancy and could save the state over $180 million, according to Education Commissioner Susan Genrin?
Well, that's Susan Genrin's numbers. I travel throughout the state, even before I was running, talking to rural communities because the Green Party did endorse the repeal petition drive. So I went all over collecting signatures. And these towns are really being hurt by this law. This law may save state government something, although it's unclear what that's going to be. But they've just shifted the cost to the local communities. My neighbors, I'm on Mount Desert Island, our neighbors Lemoyne and Trenton each will see a $500,000 increase in their property taxes because of consolidation. Because they are required now, they did not consolidate with Mount Desert or Ellsworth, but had they consolidated, they would have been required to increase salaries, increase funding for the high school. Now they just tuition students in and it's a flat fee. These were not things that were ever considered by the state, how much these communities would be hurt by these by this consolidation. So to me, it's just one big cost shifting. I think the better way to go about it would be recognizing that one size doesn't fit all. For example, on Mount Desert Island, we consolidated years ago, and we were told this time that we had to further consolidate, which was ridiculous. We only have one superintendent for 4 towns and 3 islands. So there was no one essentially to get rid of. And we had a hard time getting special permission to stay as we are. Rather, the state should have said to the school districts, look, money's really tight. You need to cut 5% or whatever percent it is. Figure out how to do it. Some towns would have consolidated and they would have been happy about it. But others would have done other things to cut back on the budget, and that would have saved the state money, and it would have not cost the terrible ill will that now exists between Augusta and, I'd say, essentially every rural community in the state.
So you think there should be more of a localized initiative instead of a statewide initiative for education reform?
Yes. Do a carrot, not a stick. If you will provide you support as they did provide support for these RSU meetings. We'll provide you support if you want to consolidate, but if you don't want to consolidate, you're going to have to find another way out of it. Maybe it even means you have to raise your property taxes, or you have to do something else, but you need to figure out how to, you're getting this much less money, and that's, and that's how it is.
Now, if the repeal does not go through, what would you do as governor moving forward with the implemented school consolidation plan?
I think we need to pass, if the repeal does not pass, I think the law has to be changed to give some options without penalties, which I think is a very mean thing for Augusta to do to its communities. There has to be an option for those towns who have made an effort and cannot consolidate because they have no one to consolidate with. They've been told by the state that they have to do it. And if they can't, they can't. And we did delay the penalties for a year. We passed that legislation. I think they need to not be penalized. And I actually would be supportive of amending the law to allow those who begrudgingly consolidated and are seeing huge tax increases to be allowed to dissolve the consolidation.
And continuing this conversation regarding that, would you veto any legislation to increase funding for any program until they fix the budget issues in Augusta?
I would very seriously consider that, yes. If programs are existing at the current budgetary level, I think they can stay at the current budgetary level. That said, though, I think there can be some shifting. There may be programs which are really hurting, and there may be others that aren't. And so I think there need to be some reshifting of funding, but I would not look kindly on increasing funding for programs.
Okay, and you mentioned this earlier. There's the referendum in November regarding the tax initiative that would increase sales tax but would lower the income tax. What is your position on that?
That's the increase of sales tax to other categories, I don't have much of a problem with. Part of our budgetary deficits are due to the fact that we're no longer a manufacturing society and we're a service society. So when we manufactured things, there were sales taxes on all of them. But now there were so many things that there were not sales taxes on. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the tiny increase in the residential real estate transfer tax, which will produce some funds. The problem with balancing those taxes by decreasing the marginal highest tax rate is the fact that most of us don't pay the marginal highest tax rate. And I know that the Democrats said, oh, they do, and they threw out all these numbers. But the fact of the matter is most of us do not pay the marginal tax rate. And we will not, in fact, have a balancing decrease in our income taxes. I'm not so sure we need a balancing decrease in those income taxes. And again, these are sales taxes that are coming in. And the one concern I do have, though, is it's a regressive tax, and poorer people are going to be paying more to repair their cars, to get haircuts, to, do all sorts of things like that.
So you would support the repeal of that tax initiative?
I do not support the repeal because there are some good things in it. It's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I think it needs to be changed legislatively because I am supportive of the increased arena of what has to charge sales taxes.
Very quickly, what would you tell a voter who's kind of undecided and they're looking at the laundry list of candidates? Why should a main voter vote for you for governor?
Okay, well, I'm independent. I am a member of a party, the Maine Green Independent Party, but unlike the Democrats and the Republicans in the state, I don't take my orders from Augusta. I don't take my orders from the leadership of my party. My connection and my loyalty is to the people of the state. And I think that's what people are looking for.
Thank you so much for coming on the
program.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. I'm Justin Schnedt, reminding you to become aware with the issues of the day, get involved in your community, and voice your opinion. If you'd like more information on this program, you can visit our website at www.ynetvlive.com. If you'd like more information on my career path, you can visit my website at www.justinschnedt.com. Remember, if it's Sunday, it's Youth in Politics. We'll see you right back here next week.